If you prefer being alone, there's a good chance people have misunderstood you your entire life. Maybe they've called you antisocial, too quiet, or said you need to open up more. And after hearing that enough times, it's easy to start wondering if something is wrong with you. But psychology tells a very different story. Choosing solitude isn't a weakness. In many cases, it's actually a sign of deeper awareness, emotional strength, and a unique way of processing the world. So if you feel most comfortable in your own space, this video is for you. Because today, we're uncovering the 5 rare traits you probably have if you genuinely prefer being alone. And by the end, you might start seeing yourself in a completely new light. Number 1, you have a highly active inner world. Psychology shows that people who enjoy solitude often have richer internal lives. While others seek constant stimulation from outside, social media, conversations, noise, you find stimulation within your own thoughts. You reflect, you imagine, you analyze. For example, instead of needing to go out every weekend, you might feel fulfilled just sitting alone, thinking about your goals, replaying conversations, or exploring ideas in your mind. And here's the important part. This isn't boredom. This is depth. Research indicates that individuals with strong inner worlds tend to be more creative, self-aware, and capable of complex thinking. So if you often drift into deep thought when you're alone, that's not isolation. That's mental richness. Number 2, you are emotionally independent. If you prefer being alone, chances are you don't rely heavily on others to regulate your emotions. You don't need constant validation, attention, or reassurance to feel okay. You've learned how to sit with your feelings, whether it's stress, sadness, or uncertainty. For example, when something goes wrong, instead of immediately calling someone, you might process it quietly, think it through, and find your own clarity. Research suggests that emotional independence is linked to resilience. It means you're less likely to be controlled by external opinions or temporary social approval. And in a world where many people depend on others just to feel stable, this is a rare strength. You are your own anchor. Number 3, you value depth over surface-level connection. It's not that you don't like people, it's that you don't enjoy shallow interactions. Small talk drains you. You'd rather have one meaningful conversation than 10 casual ones. For example, instead of talking about random topics just to fill silence, you might prefer discussing life, purpose, emotions, or real experiences. And if that kind of connection isn't available, you'd rather be alone. Psychology shows that people who prefer solitude often have higher standards for connection. They're not avoiding relationships, they're protecting their energy. And when they do connect, it's deeper, more genuine, and more meaningful. So if you've ever felt like you don't fit in, it may not be because something is missing. It may be because you're wired for something deeper. Number 4, you are highly self-aware. Spending time alone forces you to face yourself. Your thoughts, your habits, your patterns, everything becomes clearer in silence. And over time, this builds self-awareness. For example, you might notice your own behaviors more than others do. You reflect on what you said, how you reacted, and why you felt a certain way. Research indicates that self-reflection is one of the strongest predictors of personal growth, because you're not just reacting to life, you're understanding it and understanding yourself. This is why people who embrace solitude often grow faster emotionally. They're constantly learning from their own experiences. So your time alone isn't wasted. It's shaping who you are. Number 5, you protect your energy intentionally. If you prefer being alone, you probably feel drained after too much social interaction. Not because you're weak, but because you're sensitive to your environment. You notice tone, energy, emotions, and unspoken dynamics. And that can be overwhelming. So instead of forcing yourself into situations that exhaust you, you choose peace. For example, you might decline invitations, leave early, or need time alone after social events. And while others might not understand this, research suggests that people who set these boundaries tend to have better mental health because they're listening to themselves. You're not avoiding people, you're protecting your well-being, and that takes awareness and strength. So if you see yourself in these traits, here's something you need to hear clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not too quiet. You are not too distant. You are not missing out. You simply operate on a different level, a level that values depth over noise, clarity over chaos, and meaning over distraction. And while the world often celebrates loudness and constant connection, there is a quiet power in those who are comfortable being alone. Because when you can be alone without feeling lonely, you've already mastered something most people are still searching for. If this resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. How much of your alone time have you been judging instead of appreciating? And what would change if you started seeing it as your strength? If you want more videos that help you understand your personality on a deeper level, make sure to subscribe, because sometimes the things you question about yourself the most are actually the things that make you rare.